All right, welcome to another episode of Knicks Morning Koffee. I'm Mr. King, and that's my partner Joe Cool. We're going to talk today about our 4-1 start and how we sit at the top of the division. Now, granted, it's with some other teams, but we're still there. All right, but first, remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Also, share the video with a friend. And then I'd please like for y'all to join me on my new show, Knick Thoughts, where I'll be putting up daily content about the Knicks and things that happen during the week, and anything y'all might want to talk about during the week. And also, I do some Knicks shorts, Knicks KMK. You can check me out on that and subscribe to those as well.
The link will be down below in the description, so check it out.
All right, again, we've 4-1 so far, and we took care of some interesting teams to get there, and particularly, Philadelphia and the Bulls. Now, first Philly. Now, the Philly game, that was a good win for us because the game in the beginning went back and forth, but it also started out like Embiid was just going to take it over.
Yeah.
And just bully us, all the way through. But for some reason now, we just got hot with three. And we got hot with three, and then we was able to sustain their comebacks. So what I liked about that Philly game was that we didn't back down.
No.
Just because they didn't have Simmons, that wasn't an excuse for them because they're still picked to do some damage. But I like the fact that against Philly, that was like Kimba's coming out party, for New York, to remind everybody that this is the reason why y'all brought me here. Y'all brought me here for these type of situations.
And Fournier.
Yeah. But Fournier we can't forget because his stroke was there because people found him, and that's how we got to use Fournier. But the thing with Kimba that was also good is that not that his timely scoring, is that he was aggressive in his scoring.
Yeah.
And then when you combine that game, which we just talked about that last week, I didn't really see both of them going off in the same game, is for the fact that even Rose went off that game. So Kimba had like 20-something and Rose had, almost 20. So if we're going to get that from our backcourt, who the heck going to really give us that much trouble as the league go on? But the other part that was, good about the Philly game was that when Philly started making their comeback, in the past, then we fold and lose that game. Yeah. So we was able to fight off their comeback, even their comeback with Embiid getting hot. We was able to fight that off and then still pull the win out. And not even just pull the win out, but we just our threes just took off again. Yeah. And that's something that the Knicks just don't do. We don't play that kind of basketball where we can have two great halves like that after a slippage in between. So that's a good sign for the way this team is rolling. And then we too got to mention RJ. RJ seems to be taking on that stopper mentality that Tibbs put on him. And it's not showing through the whole game, but it seemed to be showing in the clutch. So to say, I guess like the way you can have a clutch score, I guess RJ might become that clutch defender.
Yeah.
But there's things that he got to learn, because there was an article early in the week, and I think I put that on one of the daily Knick Thought shows, was that RJ was saying that he wasn't worried about his offense. He's concentrated on being one of the top defensive players, but we need RJ's offense.
Yeah.
Like, we want that. We want you to be that defensive player, but we also have to keep in mind that he's one of our young bulls that we need to be out there giving us some points. And RJ is a late game. He's like a late game person that gives you those type of points.
Yeah, I love what RJ's doing.
Yeah.
Even if it's not, his shooting is getting better. You know what I mean? But I think that load is getting taken off from Fournier, Kemba, D Rose. Everybody's hitting their shots. So it's making it a little bit easier for him, which we expected. That we get those kind of players, he wouldn't have to do that much.
Yeah.
And then I'm still liking that he's still a bull. You know what I mean? So even though he's not getting the shot blocked as much as he was when he first got there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's like taking it to their chest, and now they gotta guard him. So that's the problem. Like,
the beauty, yeah.
Like, he's gonna take it. Like, there was a couple times I was like, damn, he went coast to coast, got the rebound, came down. I'm thinking he's gonna pass it off. Nah, he's full speed ahead to a dunk. So
yeah, that's the effect of having all these shooters around you. That when you drive into the basket, now they got to pick their poison. So it's not so much that they probably couldn't block it. It's the point of, if I go to block it, damn, look what I'm leaving on these two wings. It's always two out there. So
it's almost too good to be true. Randall is almost like, it's like, damn, you might as well just go ahead and score, but then Fournier is over there open.
Yeah.
And you're wondering why, like, sometimes they're throwing it away, but it's like, damn, if he out there by the 3, I might as well give it to him.
Yeah, we're going to touch on that, too, a little bit later with Randall. Now, the other one now, we know this one is good because, you know, our boy Khalif, you know, y'all check out Something Soulful, his clothing line. But anyway, yeah, that win was excellent. And one because going into the game, they was 4-0 and we was 3-1. So the speculation is that since they at home, they're gonna get that game. But no, we came in there with other ideas that we not gonna be denied. Like we looking ahead. We not looking back at, you know, these teams that the media say is better than us. Y'all got to prove that y'all better than us on the court. And again, the same way that Philly game went 2 years ago, we lose that game. The beginning of the game went back and forth, which was a typical, you know, typical old school Bulls and Knicks game. But then we turned up the heat because we got so much offense around.
Yeah,
and
so many players we got. Because, like, now you got to think about, let's take away the names, right? They so ganged up on Randall. Randall got the hardest job on the Knicks. They so worried about Randall that even somebody like Quickly, he's going to score if you just leave him alone. Even Obi's going to score if you just leave him alone. I'm not even talking about Derrick Rose, Kemba, Fournier, who else we missing? RJ. Yep. They can all take their man off the dribble. So that's an issue for these teams.
Yeah.
And these players is coming off the bench too and doing the same. There's nobody that we really got coming off the bench that just can't do it themselves. Last year we did. Like, Reggie couldn't really just do it himself.
Yeah.
You know
we had a lot of that last year. Yeah.
Everybody can do it themselves. So how do you guard that?
Yeah. And particularly because we brought in two people that can do it, and then the other ones got better. And you kind of hate to say that in terms of the not the scoring, but in terms of the shooting aspect, as great as RJ is playing, especially second half of games, RJ would be the weak link in scoring, even though he's hitting them shots. Because we got guys that naturally known to knock it down. And then even the same way that IQ came back and improved on his jumper, and then of course,
and the way he's attacking.
Obi took a 100-degree turn in his jumper. And then he'll get more comfortable with that as he did in preseason and as he did in summer league, because, you know, now he's not the focus like he was then. But again,
I think he's gonna get a shot because I'm noticing Tibbs is calling people number in the beginning of the game. Yeah. So I think I forgot who was the main focus last game, but it definitely wasn't Randall. It might have been Fournier because it's like they kept looking for him. Yeah. They kept throwing it his way. They kept throwing it to him. You know what I mean? I don't know if we're going to touch on this, but we do. The only weak point we got, you can't trade buckets with us, but we live by the 3 and die by the 3. So that's probably the only downfall we do have.
Well, yeah. I mean, cause look at the point that we, going into the Bulls game, they had us down that we take the most threes and we make the most threes. But the Bulls have the better in the league 3-point percentage. But I said our problem in the past was that we didn't take enough threes. Yeah. So you're going to suffer. You're going to lose some of that in the percentage standpoint. As long as we're putting up the good shots, and that's what Tibbs said after the Orlando game when you said die by the 3. He don't mind. He's not mad at the ones they took as long as you know you taking. It don't have to be the first 3, right? Let that 3 come around and you open, and then you pull it. So and then because it's a make or miss league, as they say, you either on or you're off. And then you look at the other night with I saw the highlights with Atlanta. They lost. Trae Young put up a lot of shots, but he just was off that day. So it doesn't matter how good you shoot. Every shooter gonna run into a wall where you can't hit nothing that day. It's just that as a team, we shouldn't run into that. You know.
But yeah, I'm so glad we got one of the players that I always say in Fournier that's like, oh, if he start hitting, it's over. You know what I mean? I don't even think we had any kind of player like that except like Melo. But yeah, you can't even say Melo because he's not like a role player. But Fournier is that player, like I said, with Celtics with Marcus Smart. Like, don't let him start shooting 3-pointers like that. Yeah,
well, he ain't on that level. Marcus Smart ain't on that level. He's just a guy that can hit.
That's annoying.
Yeah, he's like RJ because his whole career kind of been like RJ's. even when they had Kyrie or they had Kimba in Boston with their young guy, who you going to leave open? So he was the one that was going to be left open. And he just made in his mind, they leaving me open for a reason, so this is not going to be the reason. So he worked on his J.
Yeah.
So credit that it can be done. You know, RJ can become a consistent three-point shooter, granted, maybe not at a high value. He don't have to be at a high value. You just got to hit the ones that count.
Yeah, he really got to keep slowing the game down.
Yeah.
So he got to do that Mamba mentality.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to be the Canada Mamba.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, he got to just keep that game slow. That's all.
Well, yeah, and that window might have passed to be Canada Mamba because we got too many players. You know, that was good.
He still could probably get it.
Yeah,
but he's not going in. He's not going in the post like Kobe neither. So it's a little bit harder. He might have to shoot for more like maybe T-Mac.
Yeah, but he has the ability. But he does have it. 6'6" and strong as he is. You know, and again, the Chicago game with Kimba. Kimba had a terrific outing during that. Now, you know, again, you want to keep with the coming out party. And I like the fact that he's now being aggressive, shooting the ball. I would still like to see Kimba still get into the lane and dish, but again, he's also working himself off an injury. And then D Rose going back home to Chicago, you already knew what that was going to be. It's like, right now, I want to say, if we have to pick a savior this early in the season, it's Rose. Because Rose is giving us a steady diet of penetrating, and don't tell me about his three-point shot. Because he hitting that like he owned it. You know?
He's playing like he ready for the, like if he had to start, like, yeah, I could do it. He's definitely having the time of his life. He's not far from home.
Yeah, and then,
you know what I mean? He's in New York.
And the pressure's off him because we got Kimba. Yeah.
Knicks media is like on a different level right now. They're not talking bad about him, about us anyway.
And it's nice when somebody wants you.
Yeah.
The way he knows this team wants me. And he's familiar with the front office. And now he's closer with the guys. The young guys respect you. The guy that's supposed to be the star of the team, Randall, show you a lot of love. So, yeah, right now, what is it not to like about the Knicks?
You and your old teammates are the heart, basically, of the
Knicks.
Yeah. D Rose and Gibson.
Yeah.
They the heart of the Knicks. So
definitely. Ain't no doubt about it.
You can't, always thinking about what you said before, but there's a superstar that they probably thinking about coming.
Yeah.
You can't mess up that D Rose, Taj Gibson. Like, whatever y'all got to do just to keep the team how it is, just add. Don't even worry about, like, as Knicks fans, this is all we ever wanted. We just wanted a solid team that can compete. Like, yeah, we want the ring, we want the title, but at least we can compete. That's what we want. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In fact, we're gonna go back to that too, because that's an interesting point of how far can we go. Now, as far as a rivalry with the Knicks and the Bulls, and to me, this was not. It was a good game. It was a typical, Knicks Bulls game in the past was a typical 1 to 3 point game, and this was a 1 point game. So, nothing new there. But as far as a rivalry, I don't really see it. I'm not even looking for another Knicks Bulls. That 90s rivalry was, that's like a once in a lifetime rivalry, that 90s rivalry. So then when you're talking about when the Bulls had D Rose, when they was making their runs, and we had Melo and Mari and them making our runs, even that wasn't a rivalry. They were just two good teams battling. But as far as to go back to we're gonna have another rivalry like the 90s. Right now, we don't even got time for a Bulls rivalry because we got stuff in our own division that we got to worry about. We got Brooklyn and Philly we got to worry about, and then you're talking about Boston and Toronto. So we don't got time for no outside rivalry. And then even the players on both of these teams ain't even built that way. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like even when what's our boy when DeMar grabbed, whose leg did he grab?
Was it Mitch? No.
It was a guard, right? Was it RJ? I think.
It might have been RJ.
Yeah, but just the point of, even there was no animosity there. Because, back in the day, if one of the Bulls would have grabbed Anthony Mason or Oakley's ankle, they'd have stomped one of them players out. Yeah. So this ain't even the same mentality. This is all, we love Lonzo Ball, just like Dave probably love IQ, So it's not that type of rivalry. Now, here's a question in terms of Alec Burks. Now, can he still perform at the clutch level that he did last year, even though we don't really need him to as much? Can he be the same player? because I've been thinking about that with Burke. And remember, my thing is that we had to have another 20-point. We had to have a point guard, which we got in Kemba. We had to have another 20-point scorer in the starting lineup, which we essentially got in Fournier. And then we needed 20 points off the bench, which in this case, we re-signed Burke. Now, now I think we still need Burke because we're still going to need that when he get rolling to that because we got so many guys. But sometimes you find a guy and he's not fully clicking yet. He has days that he hits it. But when you got other guys and you're not counted on as much, that's like a team that might just have one big man. And that one big man do a lot because he's the only big man that they got to deal with. So he's not looking over his shoulder. He's not worried. I got to go out here and do yeoman-like work. So now can Burke now try to find a way to manifest that same mentality, even though it's more people to share the wealth in that second unit. You know, Derek is going to another level. And then Obi picked his game up 1,000%. So now, you know, and then you see what IQ is doing. So now how do you find your niche in that second unit so you can still be that scoring threat? Because we're going to still need it, you know. I mean, Derek's not going to give us 20 every night.
Yeah, he's probably just going to be one of the mystery players that when they come to play the Knicks and for some odd reason everybody's off, but he's hot. Like I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, when everybody go find Burke, somebody's hurt maybe D Rose is hurt and he has to come, you know, take the extra load. At least we can count on him going for his shot. Because like Fournier, he's not going to just let the Knicks go down. You know what I mean? He's not going to just pass it out of a game. He's going to say, no, what, let me just take it at this point. Yeah,
why is not to skip it, but why the heck is Fournier dribbling too much?
I don't think he's dribbling so much. I think when we just can't find offense, he's putting the pressure on. But I kind of like it. You know what I mean? Because
he's losing it. He's losing the ball doing that.
He's losing the ball, but eventually he should probably get. It's not like when Randall was doing the spin move. It's not like that. Like you trying to make something happen, but every time we trade in buckets, but our defense ain't there. Right now we trading buckets, but the defense is still kind of there.
Yeah, the defense is there. Your team's not going to be able to trade buckets with us. Make a mistake,
but they can't afford to miss, but we can. Last year was Randall do that, but we couldn't afford to miss that opportunity.
Yeah.
This year, we could do that because Felice Fournier is hitting a lot of those shots. He might have been off maybe in the beginning, but towards the end, he's not off no more.
Yeah, but we also have to help Fournier, like in those droughts, like when we went to that 5-minute drought against Chicago. And those things are going to happen, but those droughts wasn't necessary. That's where Tibbs have to say, especially when you got Fournier and Kemba who can knock down an open shot in their sleep. That's when they got to say, let me make sure, let me run whatever staggered screen, whatever I got to do. Let me make sure that one of those two guys for the next 4 or 5 times down court get a practice shot, a practice 3-pointer where I'm running these screens off where they just wide open, and put that in your offense because we don't have to have 5-minute scoring droughts. And sometimes the ball not gonna find the open man or the hot man. Sometimes you got to make that ball find the hot man.
Honestly, I feel like once Nerlens come back, it's a wrap.
No, but that's gonna be a problem regardless because Tibbs has that thing that he says, yeah, the ball finds energy. But no, sometimes you have to make it, though. Like, if Fournier can shoot like that or Kemba can shoot an open shot like that, sometimes you have, like, okay, we take the Laker game last night with Melo. You see Melo was locked and loaded, right? And he know LeBron is going to draw the double teams with 2 more watching him. And he know the ball is coming. So every time LeBron made a move into the basket, he threw it back out to Melo, and Melo's there for the 3 and was knocking it down. That's the way we have to manifest that 3-point. We have to make sure we get it because we can't afford to really go into these 2 and 3 minute droughts. We too good for that now. Last year, maybe. This year, we got too many scores and too many horses. But I was just bringing that up with Burke, is that sometimes when you're not needed as much, sometimes you're not the same player because you're not counted on as much. So if he can find that balance, and I know he will.
At the end of the last year, he wasn't needed.
Well, remember, he didn't play. No, he didn't.
It was like 2 or 3 people got hurt.
Well,
he had to play the whole game.
Well, and then he never looked back. Same thing with IQ.
Remember, we won 3 in a row with that.
Yeah, and the same thing with IQ. And that's how Grimes and them are going to find their way in. It's going to be an injury and it's going to be foul trouble. I mean, you don't want that, but that's what it's going to take. And when Grimes find his way in, because he's an elite defender on top of his elite shooting. And he got the wits. It's going to be hard. Same way for anybody with Burke.
Grimes is next up because if Burke get hurt, now I say if Burke get hurt, I think Grimes is next up.
Yeah, and now this is the thing. Burke don't got to get hurt. It's got to be somebody in the starting lineup would have to get hurt, and then Burke had to be in foul trouble. That's how it's going to probably weigh its way in. And then now he's taking on that minutes from the person in foul trouble.
Grimes, I think because as Knicks fans, we didn't scream for that to maybe sway. I don't know if he swayed the decision for Quickly to come in or Quickly just did it on his own.
What is that?
Like when Quickly first played in preseason, we all felt it like, nah, Quickly might have to play.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that way for Grimes until the beginning of the season. I think he played once or the end of preseason. I'm like, nah, I think Grimes got to play too. I think Grimes is going to be maybe we should have, somebody's going to say, maybe we should have drafted him. I think that's what's going to happen because I think he's going to shoot better than.
Well, it wasn't a bad draft. I mean, guys that they wanted, it was pick your poison at that point. So who was left?
The level of play I think he's about to do too is about to be like, maybe he should be playing right now.
I mean, he can wait though, because it doesn't matter right now. Like same thing with Obi. Mm-hmm. There's talk that turning Obi loose with more. It's coming. Keep learning.
Nah, but I think they turned him loose with more.
Keep with your craft. Mm-hmm. And maybe when he's in the game, call his number more or get him out into that break because you see it. The whole team is looking for him out in that break.
Yeah, but Obi don't count because Obi, one, he's doing the work that nobody else want to do.
Uh-huh.
And he's doing what he's drafted for. He's getting them chances last year. Right now, my only fear with Grimes and McBride is like the other two guys we had in the past, they might not get that shot. So when you go out there, you just trying to make sure you make the cut. It's not like Kevin Knox. Like Kevin Knox, they might throw in there for those situations. But Kevin Knox, he's been there for like a couple of years now. I want Grimes to get a true shot.
He will.
So the nerves is gone.
He will.
And he's actually shooting at that high level.
Listen, he will.
Every time he put up a shot, we all going to take a deep breath, praying that he do good. But I want him, even if he did miss it, it's like, oh, we know he's going to knock that down.
Yeah. It's one thing when you look at him shoot, even when he hit one three, when he got those minutes, what was it, the first or second game? Mm. When he got those minutes at the end. And you could see the way he move around with the veteran players. He's going to be a problem.
Yeah, was that the first game of the season?
It was one of them. It was the first. No, it was the first. It was a real game.
Defense was
stellar. Stellar.
He's good. He actually looked bigger than I thought he was when he was playing defense. So like I said, for some reason why they just can't run past him.
Tibbs I think Tibbs know what he's doing in terms of with Grimes. Okay, I'm a veteran type coach. I love my veterans. I love their experience. But I think he realized when he do have to put that boy in.
You know what's crazy?
He ain't gonna be worried about it.
If I made it to the end, I think Tibbs is grown from, I guess, what we had in mind of him. Because he's playing the young players. You know what I mean? And he's playing our veteran players. He's not playing people more or less than what we thought they was going to play. And every question that we had, I think it's been unanswered already. Are you going to play Obi and Randall at the same time? They playing at the same time. It's quickly going to get this amount of minutes. We see what minutes he's getting. D Rose and Kemba going to share minutes. They're sharing minutes.
With that, yeah.
Nobody's playing more or less than the other. 48, he's getting his time. You know what I mean? So I guess the only person we're thinking about right now is Grimes.
Yeah, and but I'm not even worrying about because I know it's going to come.
Knox, but
yeah,
does that even matter now? Now it's like you might as well keep Kevin Knox because
you have to.
If he's shooting like how he's shooting when he's not playing,
he's only getting $5. He's only getting $5 to $7 million, whatever, a year, which is a shame that all the guys now that came in with him, signed those big lucrative contracts. And look at who signed the biggest one was Michael Porter Jr. Who we all really wanted to draft because he was hurt. Sometimes you gotta roll the dice. The guy was too good. Now look what he signed. He signed a bigger contract than most veterans. The money he got.
Well, so Knox, you gotta.
To me, I hold him. Unless something comes along, there's no need to. He can. Somebody, if 5 people got hurt, at least you got Kevin Knox. If that's what it takes. But I would keep him. But yeah, the Knicks, Grimes shot
Kevin Knox got to see
his shot is going to come.
Yes, Kevin Knox got to see that moment. He go in the game.
Well, it's going to have to be on the defensive end.
He going to have to dunk on somebody. We don't even see him dunk on nobody.
Yeah, but it's not going to come.
He going to have to do
No, if he was playing now, because we're running a little more, he'll shine, but it's not his playing time is not coming on the offensive end.
Maybe
it's going to have to come on the defensive end. Yeah, it's going to have to come on the defensive end, though. That's where his because we got scores. So,
I mean, a little bit more scoring ain't going.
Well, ain't never going to hurt.
Yeah.
But you got to look at, if I say we can average 7 or 8 people, even I look at the box scores of the last few games when we had 7 people in double figures in the Philly game, then in the Bulls game, we had 5. But you look at even the past 3-4 games, you got 4 or 5 in double figures, maybe even 6. But then you look at all the guys that got 8 and 9.
Yeah, but
so that's one more field goal, and you got about 8 guys averaging double figures.
Yeah, but if Knox is the player that we all thought he was, that lineup with Randall, Obi, you can still have that kind of lineup, give Obi a break, and have put Kevin Knox there. Like I said,
no, but you don't got to give Obi a break.
I'm just saying. Say if you did, or maybe say it was all 3, you went like not big, but Kevin Knox should be able to take a 2-guard or 3 off the.
Well, you'd have to run. That would have to be a running team, which that still I would try that.
We think he's Kevin Garnett-esque.
Yeah,
we think he's like that.
Yeah, but the only thing with the 3 of them that you're losing something in defense. But if you're just gonna run for 5 minutes or 4 minutes, yeah, I would try that. Because now, whoever takes it off the board,
I think it's his defensive assignments. But if he got to just figure that out, he got to do something. We rooting for him, but
well, but guys like him
and something.
Yeah, well, Grimes is the one whose time is going to come, and when it comes, he's going to be ready. All right, now as far as like the Knicks family and bonding, right? It was reported that after the Bulls win, that the Knicks whole team and Tibbs all went out to dinner. Now, that don't sound like a big deal, I guess, to us, but you remember the ex-player, Brian Scalabrine? Well, he reported that the whole team, Knicks players, coaches, and management all was out to dinner. And he claims he's never seen that in his whole time in the NBA. Now, imagine he played with Doc in Philly when they had that team that was supposed to have been a big bonding team when Boston, not Philly, it was Boston, when Boston won it with Garnett and them. And he said he ain't never seen all the whole team, coaches and management all sitting there having a good old dinner out, at a restaurant before. And I think that might have been done, but probably so years ago. But just the fact that shows that not only do the players probably trust Tibbs, that they probably like him because they're young enough to take his criticism and they see that if you follow my lead, these are the good things that can come. And even they even say in the when they're having like the post game stuff, Tibbs is joking and laughing, making more jokes that he'd never done before. Because I think he has a team that he believe in them and they believe they believe in him. And I think that bonding, that's the kind of thing that's going to carry us through during some of the rough patches of the season.
Yeah, but self-explanatory. What's that movie I'm thinking of with the principal? Lean on Me. Right? He was hard nosed.
Said lean on me.
But you love him.
Yeah.
Right? D. Rose said, listen, he's not going to take no mess, but you got to love him because he knows what he's talking about. Just got to follow the system and play hard.
Yeah.
So I always say that college ball mentality and high school ball mentality, you play hard, you practice hard, it translates into the game. I said, why does that never translate to the NBA? There's always too many distractions with superstars, clothing brands, and all that kind of stuff. But with the Knicks, I feel like we got a lot of players that they come in the clock in to play ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? RJ, Quickly, Obi, so that young core right there, they clocking in to play ball. It's not about Nike. It's not about Under Armour. It's not about none of that. I'm clocking in to play ball.
The love of the game.
D. Rose, history of I'm coming to play ball. Right? And then you got Mitch. He's trying to prove that, look, I'm here, center here to stay. So our whole team is like, we not here to play. It's not like J.R. Smith, you know what I mean? Melo with the Jordan deals and a whole bunch of different players that got different.
And they know, and I'm pretty sure that
remember
Tibbs,
Tyson Chandler with the fashion.
yeah, but I'm pretty sure that Tibbs probably stressed to them that you put in the work, those kind of deals will come.
Mm. Yeah, but even when them deals come, it's like I said, it's the mentality of this is my job.
Yeah,
and I'm
but
coming.
I'm
coming to ball.
But you know me, I also add that I always got to mess it up, right? That they come in the ball, but they also know that if I slip, look who's on that bench.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, and I think an honest conversation that Tibbs probably had with them is like, particularly with IQ and them other guys that, you know, y'all are my guys. I'm riding with y'all, and the only way you're gonna lose your spot, you won't lose it to injury, but if you're outplayed in practice, because he keep mentioning you want to get on the court, you got to do it in practice. That's one thing he constantly mentions in his post game, and I think them guys are in tune with that. Like, yeah, I want these young guys to do well, and I'll even give them things that veterans passed on to me, but I got to keep you on that pine. So that little extra stuff I got to do during the game, you know, I got to do it during the game. I see it was a thing in the Bulls game where it was a loose ball, and it fumbled around, and Derek could have had it, but he didn't dive for it, which was good in his case because he's older. That one possession ain't worth it. Yeah. But and then when they was and I was saying to myself, I ain't want to mention because I didn't want Khalid to say nothing to tease us. But I said Derek probably said, "Oh no, I just got my J going too. I ain't about to mess it up now." But for any other player, especially younger, you don't get on that floor.
Obi, even Robinson, I would tell him like just chill, don't even get hurt, because he looked like he was playing hurt on the Bulls game too. Which is good that we see that he's dedicated to playing.
Well, that we gonna
he needs to.
No, we definitely touching on that in a few minutes because that's something Tibbs got to work on. Okay, now again, I'm gonna ask this: what are our expectations from the outside people? And I mean outside people like people who are not Knicks fans and other teams.
Shoot, I can hit my drum, I don't know what you're talking about.
So I was like, somebody, I don't know who's. I was just scrolling one day and on watching YouTube, and somebody was just killing the Knicks. And so I was gonna keep watching his show, but then I said, why is it like, what do we have to do to get people to realize that we here? That's not just a moniker that we're using. Like, we here. We might not be your first choice, right? But we ain't that like that nerdy kid in school or the lunchroom nobody don't want to sit to. You can invite us to the party, and you know, and we're gonna come stylish. We're gonna come, you know, we ain't gonna be your first person to get an invitation. You know, the Lakers might get it, will get it before us. Brooklyn will get it before us. Milwaukee get it before us. But you're gonna invite us to the party. We that type of team. So I don't know why. I would rather come from the people who hate the Knicks from the outside. But to watch a Knicks show, and you can talk bad about the Knicks, that's anybody's right. But it's almost like, what do you got to do to let people know that this team is for real? Like we playing ball, we coming back, we sustaining leads, we hitting clutch shots, and we getting clutch defense. You know, from all kind of unlikely sources. So, you know, what more do y'all want us to do?
The teams that everybody say got better stars than us, we did pretty good in them close games.
Because you can't say
other time a team would have failed.
You can't say same old Knicks, right?
Yeah,
right.
You can't.
Not even other teams.
You couldn't say that
2 years ago we would have failed. Last year we learned in the second half of the season, we learned how to pull those wins out. Because I saw a stat the other day that last year to close the season we went 16-4. You know, to close out the season. Now that's a hell of a stat, but that also tells you, like the 54-win season. Every time we step on the court, we capable of winning. Yeah, we got to do what we got to. We got to grind to get it, but still, we capable of winning every game that we play. Now, winning every series, that's another story. But right now, we got, you know, the one game, so we in the regular season, and we're capable. So it just seems like, what do people want? What is it that they actually want out of the Knicks? Even Doc and MB said after the game with Philly, they raved about how physical we are. They didn't say dirty. They say physical, because one thing we learned that when that ball goes into the middle, we swarm. We get hands on it. You know, and I think teams like that. Teams like the fact that the Knicks, They're putting bodies on you, but they're not trying to hurt you. You know, so why these expectations from people that are, I don't know, well, maybe it's easy to hate the Knicks, but just the fact that people really should calm down because of the work that we're putting in. You have to count us in that conversation, because the teams that actually win, if you even go back, take away the Lakers with AD in the bubble, teams that won with one star. You know, basically not. You know, you might have been on the All-Star team, but it's one star. Giannis was one star. Yeah, we love Middleton and we love Holiday, but Giannis was one star. When Toronto won, you know, we love Lowry, but Kawhi was the star of that team. You know, we love Green, but there was one star. So if the notion is now, do you have to have a big three? You might not have to have a big three to really be a team that compete for the championship, because the teams with the big three has not won a championship in recent years, other than
Miami.
Right. Now I'm saying in recent years, Miami now that's going into distant years.
Yeah.
You know, so put out a good product and roll with what you got. And anytime you get a chance to improve your team, improve it. But look at the teams that win. They hadn't done
the teams that win, they're teams. It's not about the three.
And that's what, yeah.
The three don't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. But again, we that type of team. Now, another thing with Randall, like when Randall don't score, right? When he don't score big and we win, is that a sign that Randall can't play with everybody? Or is just because he didn't score a lot in a win, is he having a bad game? Or is that a sign of Randall's maturity? You know, that the other guys got it going, and I'm gonna ride this wave. Because if you look at even with the Bulls game, Randall had 16. He wasn't forcing shots. Can't really say if he was on or off, but he did see that other guys was on. You know, Kimba was on fire, and then Rose came in on. He was on fire, and I kind of liked the way Randall was like, you know, facilitating that. Like, he was still like drawing the double team. Every time Randall puts the ball on the floor, he's going to get double teamed. And he was finding the open people. And even though sometimes it's like the hockey assist, he was making the right pass. Because even late in the game, during that drought, the announcer had said, "Where is Randall?" Which, in a sense, you can say that, you know. But Randall was still moving the ball.
Yeah.
To get the ball to the right people.
As I said, the stats in that situation don't matter. So,
yeah.
Randall's doing what he's supposed to do. That's his maturity. Yeah,
because almost like Bert, if we're doing well, am I needed? Yeah, you always need it, because you're going to always draw the double team. What's not needed sometimes if you might go into forcing, like the loss that we had to Orlando. You know, I don't know where but it got contagious in the Orlando game, the game that we lost. That when Randall started just forcing it with the old spin move and losing the ball and the refs not giving you the call, everybody started doing it. And we just could never recoup from that. You know, so that thus comes our first loss. But then you learn from that. And I kind of like that game that Randall played. Now, you don't like him missing no 2 clutch free throws at the end. Superstars can't do that. But still, at the same time, and he came back and he made 2. So we need that, though. We need our stars to recognize if everybody else got it going around me, I'll be the decoy, and y'all be the guys that take us home. There ain't nothing wrong with that. That's the sign of a team.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, that's the sign of a team. All right, and two, we flourish that way. All right, now the other thing, actually the last thing I want to talk about today is, and I got to look up Mitch's contract, because I saw something yesterday, and it talked about the Knicks saying they want to give Mitch, I thought we signed him. They want to give Mitch a long-term deal, but not if the price is too crazy. Now, that would be insane to me. I'm not going to beat this in the head because we talked about this before. But you have to take care of Mitch. You got to take care of Mitch, because there's not a lot of centers out there that are going to change the fortune of your team offensively. But there are centers out there that can do it for you defensively. And that's what Mitch do. You know, sort of like, what's my man on Utah? The big man on Utah.
You're not talking about the Joker, right?
No, that's Denver.
Denver.
Because he's an offense too. But the one on Utah. But I'm just saying things like that.
Gobert?
Yeah, Gobert. This is why you need Mitch for things like that. Mitch is young. Mitch is learning. His body is rounding out. And he probably got other skills that we don't use. But just the point that you got to give him whatever contract they put on the table. Mitch is worth it.
But you can't tell me when everybody's playing defense how they're supposed to.
Yeah.
Teams ain't just running in the paint with Mitch out.
No, and then but they're talking about his injury thing. You got to roll with that. To me,
that makes me nervous too. But when Nerlens come back, you can split his time.
Yeah, which they'll do.
You know what I mean?
But so pay that man his money.
Let him get his ice down. Let him, help him get his body right.
Well, this is the other part to that kind of ticked me when I read it. Now we don't know if this is coming from the Knicks or not. This is what was reported. Because if it's true, then Mitch just came back off a 7-month injury. Don't ride me out like this, the way we doing right now, if I ain't in your long-term plans. Because I just came off an injury. I haven't found my wind and my rhythm yet. You see him, he on his knees every second. So he's rounding into shape. And then that'll cause an injury right there. So, if you're playing me 27 minutes a game, it feels like 37 minutes.
He got strength, but he don't got his full strength. He goes for a dunk. And if you push him in his chest harder,
right? Because that's
to the floor and he knock the wind out of him.
And that's like anybody, right? And that's anybody that hadn't played in 7-8 months.
And he's dominant out there. So for 7-8 months for him,
I'm saying
they gotta put bodies on it. You look how he played Embiid. They gotta put bodies on top of bodies on him.
And he's not even in shape yet. So
second chance.
But again, that's what can get you hurt when you're playing out of shape.
Yeah.
Hard as he's playing. So don't ride me if I ain't in your long-term plans, knowing that this right now, I'm going 100%, and this 100% can cost me my career.
Give him a rest.
That's Nerlens supposed to come back tonight.
Yeah, so that's rested. Now give him a rest.
Yeah.
Let Jericho get something. If you're gonna go small anyway, you're gonna have that Randall. What did we play? Randall, Obi. If you're gonna do small again for a little bit, then don't even start. Robinson just
he's starting.
I'm talking about let him get his, LeBron just got a rest day. He
I'm gonna rest day.
Barely played.
Just play him in a few minutes, and when you see because Randall's tired, he's a horse too. If you see he's winded, and you got to play through wind to get in shape. But in case of it, because he was out so long with an injury, don't add to the injury. Now Nerlens come back tonight, so they say he's still gonna start Randall, and then Nerlens will start easing his time in. And I'm sure Gibson, all three probably will play for the next couple of games until Nerlens rounds into shape. So just to look at our team and how it's by Christmas, how we should be rolling.
We got a big guy in there
We got a shot blocker in there at all turns. Yeah, and it shows when Randall goes when Mitch goes out the game. All right, folks. So thanks for joining us. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes, sir.
Also, check out my new channel, Nick Thoughts. Tell me what you like about that. And I'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.